Today is August 4th, 2024, and this is our weekly update on the ongoing war between Israel and the terrorist organization Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Shalom, friends. This is the Kiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. This past week was an extraordinary week for Israel and a devastating week for Israel's enemies. Last Saturday, let me remind you, we heard that devastating, horrible, tragic news of 12 children and youth killed, murdered by a rocket that was fired from Lebanon by the terrorist organization Hezbollah onto a soccer field while these kids were playing soccer on a sunny, beautiful Saturday afternoon in the northern Druze village of Majel Shamas in the Golan Heights. A horrible, horrible, dark day for Israel and the residents and civilians of the Jewish state, and Israel vowed revenge for such a horrible and disgusting attack on the people living in this country. And that is exactly what we saw this past week. We saw two devastating attacks for our enemies. One was in Beirut, the second in command in the Hezbollah terrorist organization, second only to its leader Nasrallah, was targeted in an attack by the Israeli Air Force and killed. And the very next day, just less than half a day later, though Israel has not officially taken responsibility for it, the leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, was in Iran for the new president's inauguration ceremony, staying in a guest house that he had been staying many times before in the past, a very high secured area and building for people like Haniyeh. And he was staying there in a room, and in the middle of the night, a bomb went off, killing him and a bodyguard that was staying with him. The first report that came out about this assassination was that it was a rocket that came through the window and targeted just the room, causing very little to any damage in the entire building, in the entire guest house. It's a very specifically targeted assassination attack. Later on, there's a report from the New York Times that said this was actually a bomb that was planted there a good 2 months earlier, waiting for Haniyeh to return to this guest house that he had stayed in before, that he preferred to stay in, even the same room that he had stayed in the past. So this was an incredibly well carried out mission, and all of these attacks. And if we look back at the past month or so, we see the long arm of Israel going to attack its vicious enemies on their own turf in ways, on some level, unprecedented in the history of Israel. And we've seen this just in the past few weeks. In Beirut, in Yemen, let's remember the attack on the port in Yemen against the Houthis, and now in Tehran on Iranian soil. These three attacks have sent a very strong message to the enemies of Israel that we will strike you on your own soil, and we will serve revenge for anything you do against us. These were incredibly well-planned missions, attacks, both in terms of strategy as well as in the intelligence that was needed to carry them out so successfully. Right now, Israel is in high alert. It has been for the past few days. We came into Shabbat not knowing what Shabbat would be. Thank God Shabbat was quiet, although just last night there was a large barrage of missiles from Lebanon into northern Israel, with many Israelis who are still living up there going into bomb shelters. But in general, Israel is in high alert. Many airlines have canceled all flights to Israel. About 18 last time I saw on the list, 18 airline companies canceling all flights. Many Israelis stranded in countries where they were planning on coming back home in the past few days, but their flights are canceled, and they have to figure out new ways and new plans on how to get home. So a lot going on here. On one level, an incredible victory, many of them these past few weeks for Israel. At the same time, we are now entering into a new phase of this war. Some people in the international community were looking for this war to finally settle down and come to an end. But right now, we're not seeing that. We are seeing a new phase of this war, a new chapter of this war, as the borders of this war really extend far beyond the borders of Israel. America has vowed to defend Israel's security, to defend Israel actively and directly if it is attacked by Iran or any of its proxies, even sending warships to the area. And things are definitely changing here in this ongoing war that started on October 7th with thousands of Hamas terrorists breaking through the border into Israel, pouring into Israeli territory and attacking communities along the Gaza border area, killing over 1,000 people and taking over 200 people hostage. Still, 115 Israelis remain hostage, and we're praying every single day for their release, for their return home safely to their families. And we know that all of you are praying with us and supporting Israel from afar, from wherever you are. And we continue to recognize that, know that, and appreciate that. So we'll keep our eyes on the news here as this war continues to unfold in new and different ways, and really blessing the soldiers who are fighting on the front lines of this war, whether it's still in the Gaza Strip, where fighting continues to happen, still looking for tunnels, destroying tunnels, and of course, looking for hostages, and of course, going after Sinwar, the Hamas leader in the Gaza Strip, also on the Lebanese border, and in other areas of the country to protect the people of Israel and to ensure the safety and security of this country. Again, we appreciate all of your blessings, prayers, and thoughts. All the best and be well.